Hi, I'm Heidi Veras. Welcome to my home. I moved to Florida in 2004. I came from Wisconsin, which is completely a different place to grow things. And so I had an opportunity to do some landscaping, and I also am in an opportunity, have some opportunities to grow some herbs and some other things. So I am starting a YouTube channel to help those of you who may want to be interested in more about plants, what you can use them for, how you can use them in landscaping, how you can use them in your garden. And we're just going to do a basic walk around of my house just to kind of show you what I have, so you can potentially let me know what you're interested in. And we're going to be highlighting some of the plants today that I will be going into further detail in future episodes. So the first one I'd like to show you, which is really beautiful, it's actually kind of on its way out right now, so I'm kind of glad we caught it because it comes up once a year. And this is Curcurmin, and it's actually really dry right now. It's been super hot. We really haven't had a lot of rain, and this plant here is really good for inflammation, and it's part of the ginger family, and you would harvest the roots. I use these mainly for just a showcase plant. This is a very nice showcase plant too. This is a Crimean lily. It's a big one. A little caution though, they do flower and make more babies all the time. So what happens is this flower comes up, you have this nice showcase, it smells pretty decent. A lot of times it might fall over, like you can see this one down here. It's fallen over, and it's going to create a bulb on every single one of these flowers, and that bulb will drop off and shoot up another plant. So you can see I'm constantly battling and trying to keep this to just 3 to keep this space regulated, because it's the walkway. So this is a Hawaiian Thai plant, likes the shade. I mean, so I actually planted here in full sun, but this is very easy to propagate, and it's got some great color, so it's really nice for your landscape, because you can just cut them off when they get too big and put them in other places. So you buy it once and you have lots of plants. This is actually one of my favorite plants. This is like a fern. I just love the shape. I love how unique their structure is. Super easy to take care of. I just planted this and just kind of let it go. You're going to want to come in and trim these off, get the dead ones out of there. So I do that, but it's really a low maintenance plant. Has some great shape, nice color, super easy to take care of. This is I think it's a Xanadu. Yeah, this is a cool plant too. This is a great landscape plant. A lot of people actually grow this up indoors. This is a great indoor plant. Down here in Florida, they're easy to grow outside, but a lot of people up north use them as an indoor plant because they don't need a lot of light, and they provide a lot of oxygen in your house. So super easy. I'll show you guys how to propagate these later as well. Another great tropical is the bird of paradise. My husband loves this flower, but it's great. It's real showy. You'll see a lot of kind of higher end floral arrangements will have some of these in them. Right now they're kind of dry again. Like I said, we've had an unusually dry start to our rainy season, so things are kind of going. This is Mexican petunia. A lot of people hate this plant. I like it because it actually is filling this area in. I don't have to maintain this area for the size of yard. It's got a nice little flower. It does take over, but I like it because I want to showcase this foxtail fern, or foxtail palm. So it just gives it some space, and just kind of fills this design in the corner very well. Here I have a lime tree. We'll talk about how to propagate that and take care of those. Excuse this little guy, he's not happy, but this is a very beautiful chenille plant. This thing just goes crazy. You cut it down to almost nothing, and then it comes back looking like this. These are just soft as ever, beautiful red. They love the sun. and it's just taken off really, really nice. So this one we'll talk a little bit more about too. This is a pygmy, triple pygmy bait. This is a big royal. Oh wow. Look at this. So the things with royal palms, when you're planting these guys in your yard, you don't want to plant them too close to their house, because if you look up, these fronds can weigh over 100 pounds, and they're a self-cleaning palm, which is really nice to have in your yard because you can see how high they are. So when they're self-cleaning, that means they'll drop. You don't have to go get up there with a saw and take them down. A lot of palms that actually have a lot of debris up on the top can house rats and snakes and bugs and things like that you don't necessarily want in your residential area. So self-cleaning palms are a great choice. Just make sure you give them put them in the right spot. Don't plant them too close to your house, because you can see this thing fell. Look, okay, look at it. Totally chopped this plant off in half here, and it's taking this plant right here, and this can weigh up to 100 pounds when it gets big. So yeah, you don't want to plant anything right under there. That's why I have this nice area here so we can walk around. Yeah, so now I live in Cape Coral, Florida, and I don't have access to like growing a lot of stuff, but I do have access to this little spot that I'm gonna try to grow a few things. And like I said, excuse these fronds, I haven't walked around this morning, but this is a daily activity you do in Florida. If you love trees and you plant them, you got to deal with them every day. So this is a dragon fruit. There's a couple different varieties. They're pretty simple to grow. This one's a couple years old, and I've gotten fruits off of it, and the flower is pretty cool. It opens at night, gets pollinated, falls off, and then you get a dragon fruit. Now, sorry, we're gonna have to step over this big limb. So this garden I planted at the beginning of the quarantine. So now today is June 26th, and around March 31st, which is my birthday, I came back from work. I got laid off on my birthday. It's kind of a bummer, but one that I'll always remember. Anyway, I work at a really cool place called Echo Global Farms, and we would educate people on sustainable farming internationally around the world. And so one of their gifts to us, like when we left, was they gifted us with a bunch of plants that we could take home. So when I got here home, I just pretty much spent some time in my yard, and I'm going to show you some really cool plants that Echo shares internationally that help combat hunger around the world, and that you too should be growing in your yard just for additional nutrition and just growing your own food. It's super important. So this one is called a peanut butter fruit plant. Well, I'm going to go in, like I said, in detail about each one of these plants in the future, so you can really find out like where they're from, how to take care of them, and things like that. But you can see here's the flower, and these two little fruits here will turn red, and they'll get about that big, and they taste just like peanut butter. They're delicious. So this plant here is called Chaya, or tree spinach. But this is a plant that is very well known for fighting hunger around the world. It's got a wonderful story. I'm going to go into that later on. But this plant you can't eat raw, so you wouldn't just eat this one. It has a little bit of cyanide in it. Super easy to propagate. Excellent source of nutrition right here, and it thrives in neglect, which is great for new gardeners who don't know what they're doing and maybe not have great soil. So we're able to feed people in places where they just don't have the right soil or resources to get the things that they need to have a garden. Here's another edible plant. This is called edible hibiscus. We'll go into that one too. And this is another really cool green. It's called Katuk. Now this one I got from Echo as well, and this is the variegated Katuk. It's got that light coloring on it, so that's normal. But this is great. You can just pop it in your mouth. It's really good. Put it in your salads. And it's really good. It has like a nutty flavor to it. So down here we have a couple more edibles. I'm just trying to do edible things on this side of my garden to just supplement for the greens, because you know, at one point with this pandemic going on, there was no meat, there was no greens. The greens were gone. The greens that were only left were the ones that everybody could possibly touch or sneeze on. So I'm like, all right, I am growing things I can just pick in my yard. I know nobody's spraying them, nobody's sneezing on them. I'm gonna grow them. So here's another one. This is called cranberry hibiscus. This has delicious. A lot of times you just break up the leaves in your salad. A variety of these leaves in your salad are great. This is actually sweet potato vine. Now I'm growing this. This is a box, not very thick. I might not get a big tuber in there, but you can eat the leaves. So this can go in my salad as well. We got, what is that? Perpetual spinach. Got some other things going on. Oh look, something ate all my basil. I have a rabbit or something that eats all of that stuff. Now this is a work in progress, but I just built all this recently. I'm kind of a low maintenance type gardener, like find stuff that people are throwing away, bring it to my yard, throw in some dirt, kind of keep it low maintenance. And it's kind of secluded. It's kind of a crazy area to grow things, but I'm just gonna try it because it's what I got. So here again, I'm using this spinach or this sweet potato for the leaves. If I get a tuber, I get a tuber. If I don't, I don't. This is a nice...
What's a tuber?
A tuber is like a potato, a sweet potato. It's the seed part under the ground that we eat. The starchy is a tuber. And that's where you would get, if you wanted to grow a potato, you can actually just plant part of the potato under the ground. These are slips though that were made. This is kind of my little nursery, like babysitting areas at young plants and things. Some aloe is always good to have in the yard for burns and things like that. So watch your step there. Alright. This is a really cool landscape plant. It's called cardboard palm. This one got hit with some white flies early on. You can actually see some of the remnants of them on here. And I sprayed them down with some neem, or you can use soap and water, but kind of got infested a little bit, and it's doing well now, but it kind of got burned, I think, a little bit. So in this yard, which maybe actually takes the majority of my time, is these Areca trees. They're beautiful. Most of you guys have them in like little pots in your house. I think I have 32 of these guys. And again, these are a wonderful live fence or privacy fence area, and provide shade on your house, so it can help keep our heating bill down. Our cooling bill down. It shades our house from the direct sun. It gives us a little bit of privacy fence. It also, in hurricanes, is pretty resilient, and it'll stop any debris flying, because that's like a first defense. So this house has gone through several hurricanes, and the most we ever had was the screen got cut by this fence. One of the top pieces blew off and ripped the fence. But other than that, actually the plants actually protect our house a little bit. But you do have to make sure you trim them at the right time. You don't want to trim them in the rainy season. You trim in the spring before everything. So, but these are good. So again, these were the Areca trees. They're great. Okay, so over here is a really beautiful plant that a lot of people like to grow down here. And this, if you've ever been to Hawaii, and if you get off the plane, they give you a lei. These are the flowers that are used to make leis in Hawaii. And this is the plumeria, I believe. Anyway, this plant came from that plant over there. So you cut them and stick them in the ground and they just keep growing. So it's a great plant to put in your yard. It's easy to maintain the shape that you might need, and then you can take that cutting and give it to a friend or sell them potentially. Usually a cutting goes from like $10 to $20 a piece, so it can be a way to make a little extra money too. So this is good. Here's another great privacy fence plant. This is called the podocarpus. It's an evergreen, so it constantly keeps its leaves. You can shape it like with a hedge trimmer and keep the shape, and some people make beautiful shapes out of them, but we just kind of keep it a long, like a straight thing. It's a great healthy plant to have in your yard. It's great because it doesn't take a lot of square feet and it can go high. So great landscape plant, easy to maintain, and the birds like that too for a little bit of safety when you get some birds in here. Over here actually, I have a couple, these guys, they're not looking so good, I don't know, but I have some gingers and I think some soap ginger coming up. This is an elephant ear or cocoa, and I just have these in pots because they like a little bit of shade, and this area wasn't doing so great, so I just threw them in here to kind of give some foliage. And I really don't feel like digging into the ground and putting them in there because I'm lazy. Oh gosh, all right. So we have a lot of spiders lately, so gotta always kind of cruise around and get those. So this area actually, since quarantine, was completely filled with mother-in-law tongue or snake plant, which is this. I had this completely to the top, and I actually got a little crazy one day and started ripping it out and ended up ripping out the whole thing. So I saved a couple little pieces and have kind of replanted this. Now this is soap ginger, which comes up once a year. It's, like I said, it's dry. They love water, but when those come up, they'll have a nice red flower and have a great liquid that comes out of the flower that you can use in your hair. I started these from seed. This is African marigold, and I just want to see these. These can actually make a very good medicinal tea, and they have nice showy orange flowers, which I thought would be a nice color to add back here. And they also, mosquitoes hate them, so we have a lot of mosquitoes because you're going to see why in a little bit. But so I'm figuring I need to put plant defense down. So that's that. This is a really cool. This is a really cool plant. This is called the miracle fruit, and I don't have any fruit on here right now. And I planted it in a container because I wanted to keep this tree no matter where I move to, because they're really cool. It makes a little red berry, and what it does is it actually changes your palate. So it changes your taste receptors, so it makes everything taste really sweet. So it's really fun to eat it and then like taste different fruits or sour things. Like you can just eat lemons, and it's a lot of fun. We do that as a family, and it's a lot of fun. So that's a great plant. All right, so now my husband loves everything hot. The hotter, the better. So this is another one of the plants that Echo gifted me on my way out. And we already had peppers. They're really hot. He loves them. I'm not really sure what the variety is because they didn't know either. It wasn't marked, so I don't know. This plant, this is a Everglades tomato. And it's really difficult to grow. There's only certain varieties that grow down here, and because it's so hot and so wet, typically tomatoes don't, they get a lot of funguses and they don't like the super high heat. This plant thrives in it, so I don't even know where I got this plant. I think I might have gotten it from there, and I just threw it in the ground. And tomatoes, we'll go into how to grow tomatoes, but they seem to do pretty well here. with very little to no maintenance. I have a couple things I started from seed. We'll see those go. This is an eggplant. My sad pineapple. This is like a baby. I think I got this from a store, and I just threw it in this pot because I was lazy, and I just left it there. I think it's ready to harvest because it's yellow. And it's not going to get that big because really there's not that much space. So again, I was working on other things when that was going. More peppers. This is a lemon tree. Now I don't know if this one's had a lot of bugs and stuff. I'm not a super citrus.
Has anyone ever picked one thinking it was a lime tree?
Yeah, so this is a great story. So my husband and I were talking about making salsa, and I need to go to the store and pick up some limes. And I knew my lime tree had no limes on it because I had already looked. And so I'm in my kitchen or whatever making my list, and my husband comes in with like this, you know, it was like big orange, beautiful, not orange, green. And he's like, look, we got a lime. I'm like, where'd you get that? He's like, the tree over there. I'm like, that's a lemon tree. So he picked the first fruit of this plant that hasn't fruit. You know, I've had it for a couple years. It's finally bearing. So yeah, he picked something like that and brought it in. But yeah, you know, I think I gotta figure out what that is. So I have another peanut butter fruit tree that I need to find a home for. I'm trying to figure out where to put it. This is kind of a cool plant. I think it's called Ever. The name is slipping me right now. But you can see the leaves fall to the ground, and it will, off of the edges of the corner of each thing, it'll grow right from there. So if you want to plant, you can just throw them down and then they'll grow up. So very super easy to propagate these. I think in the Caribbean, if somebody has a cold, they'll chew on it. But don't take any of my, don't be chewing on anything without somebody that knows what they're talking about on a different level medically. Okay. So this plant's edible too. I don't really eat it. I don't know why it's slipping my mind right now. Anyway, I know in the Caribbean they call it a tuna plant, but it's not tuna. It's a cactus, but they are edible. Here's a bigger cranberry hibiscus plant that I'm putting over here just to kind of see if it likes this side of the house, that side of the house. But what's great is it's like sending down babies over there, so I can just grab them and move them. This is a goji berry that I was given at the quarantine, and I really neglected this thing, and I just finally planted it a couple days ago. But this should climb up here. It likes to climb, so give it a trellis, and then it'll just kind of take over. And then this is in the ginger family. This is a really cool purple flower. I forgot what it's called, but this is edible too, but it does have a lot of oxalates in it, so you don't want to eat a lot of that. And I'll talk about oxalates later. So the reason why we have mosquitoes in our yard, and you see me doing this, the bromeliads. So I don't know when, it wasn't too long ago, I would say. I was driving down the road and saw maybe this many bromeliads on the side of the road, and I just grabbed the whole thing and threw it in the back of my truck, came home and put them in a few pots. Now you can see they've duplicated, replicated, and just love it over here because it's on the north side of my house. It gets sprinkling, it gets the water on it, but there's a lot of mosquitoes over here. So anyway, that is my bromeliad side of the house on the north side. again, you want to plant accordingly to like what likes sun, what doesn't like sun. Oh, and this is a really good tree here. So this is a moringa tree, and this is like a superfood right here. And I'm going to go into depth about this one because we can do a whole talk on this plant right here. But you can see the seed pods are up there. Those are mature seed pods, so in there will be seeds to grow new trees. But this, you can just eat it. Superfood. It's also called the horseradish tree, so it's a little spicy. So if you add it in your salad, it's good. A lot of people dry this and put it in a powder in their smoothies or capsules. You can, the moringa oil is good. You can, pretty much the whole tree is edible. And the seeds can actually purify water, which is really good in other countries. So, and locally. I snuck a little Katuk in there. There's again a sweet potato that I threw in there a couple years ago, and it just keeps going. I'm not eating that one because sometimes I have a pest company that they might spray around the house, so I'm a little hesitant to eat anything that I know where they might be. So that one garden that you saw that has some of those edibles, they don't go back there because it's like on a fence line on the back. So I know that's safe. But, so they're just there. Random starts. They just keep going. And pretty much we're back to the start of the house. I have a lot of the same type plants around because you kind of get your favorites and you grow them. And like I said, the plants that I've had, you can take a piece and plant it over there, so you see a lot of the same stuff. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed my garden, and I look forward to sharing more in the future. And hit a like below and subscribe to my page so that you can continue to get notifications when I am here. Thank you.